song. How does it feel to be here in Miami for UFC 299 Fight Week?
Hey, I feel very good. Nice weather. I have a lot of friends coming from my country. I feel very good.
Where do you feel like this ranks for you? Is this the biggest fight of your career, do you think?
你觉得这场比赛是你现在目前遇到过最重要的一场比赛吗？
Yeah, definitely. This fight is most important in my life so far. Yeah, if I can win the fight, it will get me one step closer to the title.
And Petr Yan was a guy that I think there was some talk that you guys were maybe going to fight in December, and that didn't happen. But now you have him here. I guess, was this a matchup that you really wanted? And I guess kind of what do you think of him as an opponent?
Yeah, definitely. This fight is really I wanted. And we supposed to fight in last December, but for some reason he pulled out. He got injured or something. But not right now. It's a pretty good time. I have more time to prepare. Yeah, now I feel really good. I'm well prepared. I feel very good mentally, physically. Yeah.
And what do you think of him as an opponent? I mean, he was a champion, and then it seems like after he lost his title, he's kind of struggled to get wins. So do you feel like he's still like right up there? He's close to being the best in the world?
Yeah, for sure. He was a former champion and top level fighter, and he had a great striking. I believe he beat Sean, so he definitely is a great fighter still. Yeah, and the long break won't affect him any. I think maybe give him more time to reflect on his skill and improve them.
So over here.
Hi.
Do you think that Petr had beaten Aljamain Sterling in their second fight too? Because that was also very controversial, and Petr thinks he won the rematch.
Yeah, that was close fight. I'm either way, but I'm not the judges. But it's close fight. Yeah.
Do you feel like sort of the forgotten man in this division because Sean's the champion, he's fighting Chito, a guy that you have a win over, and you're still main eventing these fight nights, and now you're on the pay-per-view under them. Do you sort of feel like the forgotten man in the division, and do you view this fight on Saturday as a way to kind of cement yourself in that group of contenders?
你是不是觉得大家都是小瞧你，或者没有注意到你，因为大家都是把目光注意在什么Chito 跟 Sean 身上 ？He's a forgotten man, right?
Yes, actually I don't care, So Saturday night will prove that I'm the real star. Yeah.
Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Chito and Sean?
I like Sean, I like his style. He's smart and he definitely will win the fight. But I hope Chito win, If he win, he may count me out because he always come late our first match, He saw he win the fight, but 3 judges decide I win the fight, He always come in that, but I hope he win he do his best to win and call me out, and I'm the challenger. Yeah.
And last one for me. I saw on Monday you said that you felt you were the best boxer in the division. A lot of people also think Petr Yan is one of the best boxers in this division. So do you kind of view this fight as a way to cement who is actually the best boxer at 135 pounds?
Yeah, I'm so confident of my boxing. I've been training a lot for such a long year, so I'm so confident. But you will know, you guys will see Saturday night. Yeah, time will tell.
Over here. I know you just said that a win here would get you closer to the title talks, but do you think the win would ultimately propel you right to the title shot, or do you see a world where you may have to win another one before you get the shot at undisputed gold?
Right now seems like Murad deserved title. I agree with that, but if I knock Petr out, maybe I'm next. Yeah.
And also, I know you just mentioned how good Petr still is and everything, but do you think this is the best time to fight Petr Yan, given the recent run he's been on and where everything hasn't really been going his way?
Can you repeat it?
Yeah. So do you think this is like the best time to fight Petr Yan, given the way things have been going in his career lately?
就说你是不是现在能占据这个时机？因为他现在都是输的，是不是现在是最好的时间去打他，就是占他这个便宜？
I don't think so. He's a great fighter, but you know he is in losing streak. I'm winning streak, but we will say 39. Maybe he spent 1 year to ready for this fight. I don't know. 39, still 39.
Rob right here. You know, there's a lot of good bantamweight fights right now. Obviously, Merab just had his win. Sean's on this card. You're on this card. Umar just had a win. Is bantamweight the best division in the UFC right now?
Yeah, I think it is. It's the best division. You know, it's a lot of good competitors over there. So, yeah, it's very good for me, for us. Yeah.
And then just one more quick one. A lot of people have, you know, noticed that this card is absolutely stacked. A lot of people were comparing it to UFC 300 even. Were you surprised at how deep this particular pay-per-view is?
就是很多人说澳洲就比300好，你是不是看到这个阵容的时候感到很惊讶？
Yeah, I'm very glad that I can be the main card, you know. So I'm excited for this card. This card is crazy, you know. Yeah, I agree that this card 299 is like in my opinion it's better than 300, you know.
All right, best of luck in the fight.
Thank you.
Song, I know you have a win over Chito in the main event, but if you guys both go out there and win, do you think there's like that storyline over there that can be cooked up for a potential fight between you two again?
Yeah, your last time you asked the question over Apex? Yeah. Yeah, I remember you. So yes, I will. If Chito win, I would like kick his ass again. You know. Yeah, I would like fight him again. He always complain he win the fight. I'm tired of that. You know, let's go. Let's rematch. You know.
Song over here. When Jan fought Sean O'Malley, Jan mixed in his wrestling. Is that something that you're expecting to see from him, or does this fight stay standing?
就是说杨打奥马利的时候，杨摔了奥马利，你觉得这场比赛会到地面呢，还是两人打站立？
Both okay. I like grab with him. I like strike with him. I'm fully prepared. Yeah, all good. It doesn't matter for me.
And what are your thoughts on the all-Chinese title fight between Zhang Weili and Yan Xiaonan?
You know, they both are my friends. I will be happy either both them win. You know.
One more quick one right here. What are your thoughts on Uriah Faber returning to action? Apparently, he's going to be doing something for or his promotion.
You mean Uriah coming out of retirement, or what?
Yeah, he apparently has a match scheduled. It hasn't been said if it's a fight or maybe grappling, but.
他说你对于 Uriah 重新打比赛的这个有什么看法？他说接下来他可能有一场比赛，不知道是摔柔的还是其他。
Really? I don't know that. You know, he's been teaching right now. He has a lot of business to do, so I don't know. I don't know.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey Curtis, how's fight week going so far here in Miami, man?
It's chill.
Same old. Talk to me about what the last few months have been like for you. We were supposed to see you fight a few months back. You suffered 2 ankle injuries, right? Kind of simultaneous. Can you just kind of talk about that and the recovery that took place afterwards?
The injuries happened in June. That's when I heard about the fight originally. I thought in my head, I never had injuries before, so I'm like, I'll be healthy by November, but I never stopped working out, so I never gave my ankles time to heal. They've healed. I just needed rest. It's really, with ankles, it's just, they're very sensitive, and it's hard to let them heal as you're working out on them. So I just needed to take off like 5 weeks, and that was hard, but I knew I had to do it, so.
Are you happy that they preserved the matchup, that Jailton was still the guy on the other side of the contract when it was time for you to come back?
Yeah, I was very happy. I didn't think there was anyone else they would give me, because who else is there? But you never know, so I am happy I got the matchup.
So kind of the unique thing about this situation is I'm sure you kind of watched that Derek Lewis fight pretty closely. I guess what was your kind of thoughts on that performance? Pretty dominant from him?
Yeah, he did what I thought he was going to do, take him down. I didn't think he'd want to hang out on the feet at all. He hasn't really shown anything with footwork and hands. Like, he's a traditional jiu-jitsu guy. He's like a heavyweight version of Damian Maia. Don't have hands, I just want to grapple.
And do you feel like that's kind of the difference between you two? Because I think a lot of people see you both as heavyweights that can really drown people in this division. So do you feel like on Saturday the rest of your game is going to shine over his?
Yeah, that's the beauty of being multi-faceted. I don't have one path to victory. I can win on the feet. I can grapple. I've already shown I have the power to knock guys out. So I'm very confident I will be able to show him on the feet.
Chris, over here. Just from watching Jailton's first few fights, obviously not the Derek Lewis one because he got the full 25 minutes, but it just seems from the outside looking in like he does, front kick right out of the gate and then blast double leg against the fence, try to take you down. I'm curious, like when you're watching him, is it just that cut and dry when you're watching him right there?
Yeah, and it's a lot of guys. A lot of guys at heavyweight find one skill and like, oh, that works. They don't grow, they don't expand on it. Why would they? He's had so much success. I don't think he's gonna come out and like, oh, I want to strike now. He's gonna do, just like you said, the teep into the blast double leg. It works because these other heavyweights, they've never sprawled in their life. I sprawl all the time, so I guess we'll see.
Just one last one for me. It seems like a lot of these guys, when they're coming up and they have hype, it's like, oh, Jailton is a really high-level grappler, and Tom Aspinall is really fast and athletic, and he's also a black belt too. And it seems like they want to. Fans would be like, well, they haven't fought Curtis Blaydes because he can wrestle and strike and he's powerful, like you said. Do you hear that? Like fans view you as like the test they want for these guys. Like they're good, but they haven't fought a guy that can do all of these things.
Yeah, and some people would be like, oh, I don't want to be that guy. I don't care. I got a job. That's good. I'm always going to have opponents, so I take it as a compliment.
It's over here. When you and Jailton were originally booked, you guys were supposed to headline the Brazil card back in November. So now obviously you're on a very stacked card, but on the preliminaries. So is that something that even goes to your mind, or does it just go out there and scrap?
I prefer to be on the prelims. I don't want to be in there all day thinking about the fight. I know you guys like it because you get to end the night with a good heavyweight knockout. I don't want to be up from 12 on Saturday all the way till midnight. After I win my fight, I'm going back to the hotel. I'm going to sleep. I'm very happy I'm on the prelims.
And speaking of Tom, I know the focus on Jailton, but I know you guys did have that fight that didn't really go out the way both of you guys wanted to. So do you think that storyline is big enough in case you do get the win against Jailton to maybe run it for the interim belt or something like that down the line?
I have no idea. It seems like storylines are based off Instagram followers. So if you have enough Instagram followers, anything is a good storyline. So.
Curtis, right here. There's been kind of some criticism of the heavyweight division recently. The last main event with Jairzinho was kind of derided, people saying, oh, the heavyweights can't go. I mean, do you take that kind of stuff personally when people comment on the division that way, or are you comfortable with where heavyweight's at?
I mean, the observations aren't wrong, but I don't take it, they're not talking about me, 'cause I know I'm not like that, so I don't really care. Yeah, I don't care.
And when you look at Jailton, I mean, have you been impressed with his run so far? I mean, going through Jair and going through Derek Lewis, have you been impressed by him?
I've been impressed by the grappling, but not the overall fighting, no.
Just two quick ones over here. Do you consider Jailton a heavyweight? He obviously looked a lot smaller fighting Derek Lewis, and he's competed at light heavyweight. Do you feel like he's a proper heavyweight?
I mean, he's got proper heavyweight wins, so I guess he's a heavyweight now. Yeah.
And lastly, what do you make of the UFC sort of waiting on John Jones and giving him the time to recover while keeping the undisputed? We've seen similar cases. Sometimes fighters get stripped. Overall, your thoughts on the UFC's decision to hold the belt, I guess?
He's John Jones. He does what he want to do, and he's earned that. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to take the belt away from John, and he potentially retires, and you lose out on one of the biggest fights in history? No. So you let him heal.
Thank you.
Curtis, can I get just one more? Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Chito and Sean?
I think it's going to be a good scrap. I think O'Malley's grown a lot since the last fight. It ended off an injury, like the ankle thing. So they kind of got unfinished business. So I'm expecting it to be a good fight. I don't know who's going to win, but yeah.
Curtis, you compared Jailton to Damian Maia. If you had to compare your fighting style to a fighter from another division, who would it be?
Hands and wrestling. I can't think of anyone right now, but I've always modeled my style off of. Originally, I wanted to be like Habib, but then I realized growth isn't necessary. You got to grow the hands. So I can't think of anyone with my wrestling and strike. Oh, Merab. There we go. I'm like heavyweight Merab without the gas tank though.
Thank you.
No worries.
Benoit, it's safe to say this is the biggest fight of your career to date. I guess, does it feel any different to you knowing that you're going to be stepping in the cage with Dustin Poirier for 5 rounds on Saturday?
No, not especially, because if I don't win my previous fight, I don't get this one. So every fight of my life is the most important one.
I guess the last year or so, you've really built in popularity. You've picked up a lot of wins. Do you feel like this is going to be really your breakthrough moment to really become a star and a household name?
It's one more step, a very tough one, and I'm happy I'm getting this one. And I'm expecting a tough fight. I've been well prepared. And, I'm expecting to have a tough and enjoyable moments in the octagon.
And after your last fight, you mentioned the potential of you fighting Dustin Poirier was a fight that you wanted. Were you surprised when it came around to you that the UFC was on board, he was on board, that it all came together?
Yeah, negotiation in the top 15 is always difficult. It goes through a lot of process. I have a very good manager in the person of Guillaume Peltier, who is doing a great job. He worked hard with the UFC. I got this fight. Now I can do my job. It's fighting.
There was that day that Dustin tweeted, kind of indicating that he wasn't going to fight. From your perspective, can you kind of take me through what was going on in your mind? Were you afraid that it was going to fall through? What was your day like that day?
No, I just said at the beginning suspicions that he was injured, but it was not the case. So there were no doubt in my mind that except negotiation from his part with the UFC, there was nothing there to be afraid of. So I was an happy man that it solved itself very fast.
And I guess, can you kind of just break down the matchup a little bit for me? I mean, we've seen Dustin fight so many times. It seems like every time somebody steps in there with him, it's a bit of a dogfight, and that's what you're known for as well. So do you see this, any possibility that this isn't going to be kind of an all-out war until somebody drops?
No, I think if everybody here liked the Chandler-Poirier fight, I think you will like the Saint Denis-Poirier fight.
Thanks. Benoit, over here. Given that Dustin has fought pretty much the best of the best at lightweight, I think it caught a lot of people off guard that you were the betting favorite in this fight. Why do you think the odds makers like your chances against Dustin?
I don't care about odds too much. 8 months ago, I was a very underdog against Mofim, like 1 against 3 or something like that. The odds, it doesn't mean anything. To me, it's just gonna be a good fight, and he's ready. He's tough. I did my job as well, so I'm just expecting a tough fight.
And obviously, your last fight, you fought a guy from New York, in New York, and now you're fighting Dustin, who trains here in Florida. Are you expecting another hostile crowd when you make the walk on Saturday?
Yeah, of course.
And then obviously your countryman Cedric Doumbé fights tomorrow in France, and then you fight Saturday in your biggest fight. So I guess, do you kind of view this as a big moment in French MMA, considering you two seem to be 2 of the biggest stars from your country competing in MMA?
Who are you talking about?
Doumbé fights tomorrow, and then you fight Saturday in the same week, and you were both in these big events.
Yeah, it's good. French MMA is getting huge. Lot of excitement around MMA in France globally. So very happy to be here at this period of time and to showcase my skills.
Over here. Kind of going along with that question, I know you were asked about who can potentially be the face of French MMA. So do you think how your fight and Doumbé's fights go respectively, the face of French MMA can be decided this week?
There is not one face. There is a couple of faces. It will be very poor in terms of skills and density if there was only one face. I think if you ask this question to the US guys, they will have a couple of faces. So being part of French history, French MMA is of course something I'm enjoying, and those 2 fights are important for the storytelling of our country history with MMA.
And I know Oliveira versus Saryukin is booked as like the #1 contender fight at UFC 300, but Islam has been looking for a new challenger. So if everything goes your way, how do you match yourself up against Islam Makhachev?
I never go through a fight when I haven't done my mission, but of course it's all excitement. It's all excitement, and if I'm victorious, there will be things that are going to be done.
Benoit right here. People are now talking about you in the same breath as Justin Gaethje and Dustin Poirier as this all-action kind of ultra-violent fighter. What does that kind of accolade mean to you?
I mean, you are all here for that. I'm enjoying it. It's mean efficiency inside the octagon. It means spectacles. It means a lot. So I'm happy about it.
And, you know, when the Poirier fight kind of came into question with his tweet there, would any other matchup have satisfied you given where he's at in the sport right now?
I'm focused on him right now because this is the fight. And yeah, I mean, all the top 10, top 5 lightweight fights are exciting.
Last one for me. Also, there is the BMF title fight next month, Holloway-Gaethje. Who do you have winning that?
I'm not sure, but I will go with Gaethje because of the weight.
I lied when I said it was the last one. One quick one. Was that a title that you'd be interested in fighting for someday?
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the toughest division in the UFC for one reason. There's 2 belts in this division. So, yeah, of course.
Best luck.
Benoît, 2 petites questions. La première, tu disais que quand tu commençais le MMA, c'est Dustin qui combattait contre Khabib pour le titre. Tu t'étais fixé à l'époque 2 ans pour rejoindre l'UFC, tu as mis juste 2 ans et demi, mais est-ce qu'à l'époque, quand tu voyais Dustin contre Khabib, tu te disais déjà devant ton ordi, ce gars-là, je vais peut-être le rencontrer, lui ou Khabib?
Non, parce que je pense qu'à cette époque, je n'avais pas encore toutes les connaissances que j'ai dans le MMA, que j'ai acquises au fur et à mesure du temps avec l'expérience. Je ne savais pas encore si j'allais combattre en 66, 70 ou 77 en fonction de mon corps. Donc ça s'est affiné avec le temps. Et aujourd'hui, je suis très content d'affronter un adversaire de ce calibre.
Et dernière question, il y a la méthode un peu GSP, la méthode John Jones, Georges Saint-Pierre qui était extrêmement complet, il voulait aller là où l'adversaire était le plus faible pour se donner toutes les chances de gagner le plus possible. Et John Jones, lui, au contraire, il était plus en mode je veux battre les gens dans leur domaine de prédilection. On t'a entendu dire que du coup tu voulais striker avec les meilleurs strikers, aller au sol avec les meilleurs au sol. Mais du coup, l'un et l'autre, ça va pas forcément ensemble, mais dans ta mentalité, qu'est-ce que tu préfères? Aller dans les points faibles de l'autre pour vraiment le dominer partout ou les battre dans leur domaine?
En fait, c'est du mensonge de dire que tu vas pas là où c'est facile. La nature humaine, elle est paresseuse. Donc, tous les combattants vont là où ils trouvent l'ouverture. Mais des fois, il y a des surprises. C'est-à-dire qu'on s'attend à ce que ce soit facile en striking pour l'un, mais au final, c'est compliqué parce que le style et la distance et la compréhension du combat est meilleur chez l'autre. Mais moi, ce que je veux dire par là, c'est qu'il faut être capable d'être compétitif dans tous les domaines avec les meilleurs combattants de ta catégorie dans chaque domaine. C'est-à-dire qu'il faut être capable de faire 1 ou 2 rounds de striking full avec les meilleurs strikers de la division parce que tu n'es pas à l'abri de ne pas pouvoir les amener au sol, ou inversement, il faut être capable de lutter avec les meilleurs lutteurs. Peut-être pas les battre sur 5 rounds dans leur domaine de prédilection, même si c'est l'objectif ultime. On veut l'excellence, on veut aller chercher le meilleur du meilleur, être la meilleure version de soi-même et être le meilleur partout. Mais c'est rarement le cas, voire c'est jamais le cas. Donc on va toujours dans le domaine où l'autre est le plus faible, mais il faut être capable de rivaliser avec n'importe qui dans chaque domaine.
Et pardon, toute dernière question. On a entendu des combattants qui ont travaillé avec Daniel Voirin dire que tu es obligé d'être un guerrier si tu veux travailler avec Daniel Voirin. Comment est-ce que ça se passe du coup pendant la semaine du combat? C'est quoi? C'est une mentalité? C'est quelque chose que vous partagez et qui fait que du coup vous allez à la guerre ensemble? Est-ce que tu peux parler un peu de ce lien?
C'est surtout la méthode d'entraînement et sa vision du combat dans l'octogone qui est vachement orientée vers les dégâts et le finish. Mais les dégâts et la domination en général. Donc Daniel, c'est un style de coach qui va rechercher ça plus qu'autre chose. Donc forcément, ça donne du spectacle.
Hello, Benoit, over here. Hi. Dustin been talking about retirement. So do you think you're going to kind of finish his career in UFC this Saturday?
I mean, I will be very honored to be his last fight, but you know, it's his decisions, and I don't know in which shape he is. We will find out on Saturday, but he's a great fighter. I'm very happy to face him on Saturday, and I know it's going to be a bloody battle.
Do you expect a long fight or kind of just a couple of rounds?
no expectation. I'm ready for everything, but it can be 5 rounds, it can be 4, 3, 2, 1, everything.
Thank you.
Just one quick one. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Sean O'Malley and Chito?
Yeah, I'm surprised it went this fast for having this opposition. Learn if Chito is a dark horse of Sean O'Malley or not. So it's it's tough fight for both guys. So I'm expecting a tough fight.
Ta progression qui est fulgurante.
En fait, j'ai progressé beaucoup au fur et à mesure du temps et des années parce que je suis très jeune dans le MMA. J'ai commencé le MMA en 2018. 2019, j'ai fait mes débuts pro. Donc quand je suis rentré à l'UFC, j'avais 2 ans et demi de pratique. Donc forcément, on en apprend tous les jours. J'ai un emploi du temps qui est discipliné en essayant de m'améliorer dans toutes les composantes que font les arts martiaux mixtes. Donc voilà, c'est ça qui fait que je pense qu'un emploi du temps intelligent, un staff très compétent, une famille aussi qui m'apporte beaucoup de soutien, tout ça combiné, ça donne un combattant de qualité.
Et avec tout ça, tu sens que tu peux progresser encore jusqu'à quel point?
Je peux pas dire, mais je sais que j'ai encore des lacunes et des domaines de travail.
Merci beaucoup.
Hey Macy, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. This is a big fight for you. You're probably in the best moment of your career right now. Talk to us about, coming into this big pay-per-view, this big card, in arguably the best run of your career.
I'm excited. I'm here and I'm ready, and it's time to go knock another girl out.
And your last fight was quite a show, and you've been picking up steam. Have you felt it, besides obviously inside of the cage, have you felt it around your life, sort of how everything's been kind of coming together for you?
I do. I'm with a great team, and I put in a lot of work, and I feel like for me, it's like coming off of being able to have the experience and just live through this entire career. It's been a great thing.
Yeah, and this is obviously a big fight for the division. Do you see it as a title eliminator? You feel like a win here will get you the next shot?
I do. Either that or, like I said, obviously Alexa still has the belt, so it would be a title eliminator and getting a title shot. I feel like when I finish Caitlin, the gatekeeper, I feel like for me that really sets me up and is like, all right, fine. Like, she dominantly finished Caitlin. Now it's time to give her a shot, and I'm still coming for my rematch.
Yeah. So a lot is expected that maybe they're going to do a trilogy fight between Alexa and Valentina. Do you feel like if you make a statement against Caitlin, you can skip over Valentina and be fighting for the belt next?
I mean, I'm down to do that, but even if they do have their trilogy, if they're scheduled to fight, I'd like to be the backup fighter. That'd be great. Or whatever we can make work, There's injuries, there's things that pop up, so I'll be ready.
Yeah. And lastly, what have you made of Alexa's run, and are you surprised at all that she not only became champion, pulled off a big upset, but has been able to retain her belt so far?
I'm not surprised. Honestly, though, I did think that was a lot closer fight than it was, the rematch. And I think that's why we're getting a trilogy. But for me, I think that Alexa has done great. I've always thought that she's a phenomenal fighter, and that's why I want my rematch, because I know my third round with her, I won that third round, and had I had a 5-round fight, I would have won that fight too.
Macy, right here. Just want to get your thoughts too on the Erin Blanchfield, Manon Fiorot, and kind of I think a lot of people think that might be a title eliminator as well. So
they're not exciting though.
Do you think that would be what separates you? Is maybe if you were to go out there, get a finish, like that would be what could surpass you over them?
Absolutely. I know that, obviously they're girls in the division, but like I don't know a lot of people that are like, oh yeah, Erin Blanchfield, oh yeah, Manon, like they're just there, they're good fighters, but I don't think they have everything to be able to be, a title shot or a dominant and great champion.
And I guess, what do you think of that matchup? Is there somebody one way or the other that you're leaning towards?
Yeah, not really. It's kind of like okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Macy over here. Obviously, from the outside looking in, I'm sure you've watched tape on her, but to us, it just seems like Katlyn can she frustrates her opponents a lot with just staying out of reach and just doing like her teep kicks and everything. So when you're breaking her down, is it that cut and dry? Like she just frustrates her opponents into these decision wins, or do you see kind of more in the technique she brings?
Yeah, more of what I look at is their decision wins. They're not finishes. They're not dominant. They're not. They're just decision wins. She's doing enough to win a decision. And all the girls that she's fought that have gone for a finish, specifically Andrade, she got finished, So that's what we plan to do, is we're going to go out there and finish her. I'm not going out there to point fight with her. I'm going out there to finish her.
When you say finisher, do you envision this staying on the feet like a clean knockout, or like when she fought Valentina, she took her down and was kind of ground and pound with the elbows? Like, how do you see this fight playing out?
I see this fight playing out where I can win anywhere. I'm dominant in the striking. I'm dominant in the grappling. I'm going to be too much for her.
And then just last one for me. Can I get your thoughts on the main event between Sean and Chito?
Yeah, I like watching both of them fight. It'll be an interesting fight, but for me, I'm a fan of Sean O'Malley. I think that he's going to pull it off.
Macy over here. I just want to get your thoughts on your division. I mean, it seems like it's in a very healthy spot right now. You have yourself, see Caitlin, Alexa, Valentina, Manon, Erin. The list goes on. So what are your thoughts on the current state of the flyweight division?
I think that we have a lot of great fighters, but I don't think we have a lot of huge personalities and people that stand out. I think that there are a lot of great flyweights in the flyweight division, but I like to think of myself as one of the girls that stands out in the division because I'm not afraid to say what I think, and I feel like everyone else kind of just continues on, And
if the UFC does opt to go with the Alexa Valentina trilogy and then give it to Erin and Manon winner, is that a situation where you see yourself maybe doing one more before a title shot, or just kind of sit around and wait for the shot, maybe do a backup like you said?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to sit around and wait. Depending on how that would play out, is I want my rematch with Alexa Grasso. I don't care how it comes, if it's with the title shot, without the title shot, if she loses the trilogy, I don't care. I want my rematch. And obviously, ultimately, I want the title too. So I think that those are the two that we could figure out, if one of them gets a title shot. But that's something that I got to figure out and decide on. But it's kind of a weird situation because there's not a whole lot of people ahead, but also you don't really fight backwards. The only time I was going to fight backwards was when I tried to fight Juliana Pena.
Macy, right here. You obviously are very confident coming into this one, talking about getting the finish. And I'm curious, when you started out and you had the countdown clock and you had a couple of setbacks, was it kind of difficult to adjust and then get back to a place where you can be this confident heading into a fight?
I think that it was just a learning process. It's like I know what I want to do and I know where I want to be, but it's just trying to figure out how to get there. And so, like I said, it's a learning process, but I'm here and I learned my way here. So we're good.
And then, you know, a lot of people have noted about how stacked this card is. So is this the next best thing to being on UFC 300?
Honestly, I think this card to me is better than 300, and I'm honored to be on this one. And we're here in Miami, and I love it. But yeah.
Thank you.
Just to follow up, because you mentioned Juliana again, is that the only fight you would go up for at bantamweight outside of obviously a title shot?
I mean, yeah. I think that the 35 division also needs excitement. I think a lot of women's fighting needs excitement, and I'm down to be the person that brings that excitement. You know, if I got to fight Juliana Pena, if I got to move up and fight at 35 for a title shot, I'm like, why not? You know, like we need that.
So if presented with both Alexa and Juliana, would it be Alexa just based on, you know, you want to erase that L, or is it, you know, Juliana seems to be the most talked about women's fighter in both divisions at this point?
I think it depends on the timing. Like if it was like they're both at the same time, then it's like we gotta think about that one. But I'd take the easier one first, which I think is Juliana, and then I'd go and fight Alexa.
What makes Juliana more easier than Alexa?
I just don't think she's that great of a fighter. Of course.
What's going on, Kyler? How are you?
What up, dog?
How's fight week going? Good?
Yeah, doing great, man. Just out here.
Yeah, it's been a few months since we've seen you compete. How excited are you to be back, but also get a pretty marquee name in Pedro Munoz?
I'm just enjoying the journey, man. I love this stuff. I love what I do. I love representing myself and what I do as a martial artist, and I can't wait to showcase all the skill set I have and the spirit I have as a fighter.
Was Pedro one of the guys, like after your last fight, that when you looked at the rankings and you were trying to figure out who would be next, was he a guy that was on your radar?
Definitely, definitely. Another tough dude that's got so much accolade, so much skill set, and a lot of time and experience in the game. So that's just it's just another opportunity for me to literally just be the best version of myself.
It seems like a lot of times when people fight him, like nobody looks particularly great against him. Like he's always pretty competitive. Leg kicks are a big part of his game as well. So any changes in preparation for this one, or you got just kind of stick to the recipe and
just a couple little minor things. Yeah.
I guess kind of how do you see it playing out in your head without giving away too much?
There's so many different things that could happen all basically in my fight game. So like, I think I'm just gonna let it all play, and there's so many different things that I'll be able to do to him on my speed, on my timing, on my territory, in my time, and in my octagon. And I just need to make sure that I'm there, and that's my job.
Is it cool to share the card with Sean as well?
Yeah, definitely. That's it's been a long time coming, man. I met that guy up over 10 years ago, and it's cool to see all of us, everybody's just getting to that next level, and see him headlining as the UFC champion, you know, and he's set a very good example, and I love it, dude.
Does it surprise you at all how big he's become? Like that real A-list sort of superstar status?
He's always had that energy about him. He's always had that kind of like, just do something crazy, like since I met him, and that's just his personality, you know, and like, it's, you always knew something, he's going somewhere with it, you know, and like, yeah, we knew that was coming for sure.
And I guess we see him with the hair and his persona, and you know he's great at talking. But as somebody that has to go to work with him and train with him, and you know have a personal relationship with him, I guess what kind of guy is he behind the scenes when the lights aren't there?
Super genuine, very smart, very calculated. Trains his butt off and put a lot of time in his life into this, and that's why you see he's UFC champion. And it's just cool to be around that energy, man. Him, Tim, got my guy Marcus back there, Hanchi Nico. We're running this, dude. We're running this shit.
Obviously, going along with that, you sharing the card with Sean, how were the emotions like at MMA Lab going into this fight week?
Emotions?
Yeah, just like emotions of, you know, sharing.
No emotion. I just love it. You know, I got good feelings, definitely. Good energy, good feelings. And, dude, this is an awesome journey, and just fighting is the best. This is so cool to have an outlet like this, you know? It's not a normal life. It's cool to be able to do this for a living, and I've been doing this my whole life. I put so much time. Since I was 6 years old, I wanted to be a UFC champion. When I was 12 years old, I wrote that down, UFC champion, to my dad, and I saw that piece of paper somewhere. And, dude, I'm chasing after that same goal, and I will be UFC champion, and I'm just super stoked about all this stuff because I'm living the life that I've always wanted.
That's awesome. And the journey for you continues here with a big fight against Pedro Munoz. Do you think that fight is kind of being overlooked or slept on given how good of a card this is?
No, I think it's just, again, the UFC is the highest level of this stuff. So, like, every single fight in here is at that level. So it's just cool to be a part of 299. This is a sick, super sick card, super stacked. And Miami, you know, Miami's about to get lit.
Most definitely. And your opponent, Pedro, he's fought both of the guys fighting in the main event. So obviously the Sugar one was an unfortunate ending for both guys. But what did you make of his fights with O'Malley and Chito?
Similar with the ranges a little bit. Speeds are a little bit different. But yeah, the body type, kind of a kickboxing match, playing with the range. But even my fight with him and Chito's fight with him and Sean's fight, it's 3 different fights, but it's kind of similar. Same, you know. Yeah.
Front right here.
Yo, there he is. Got the new blowout haircut.
Don't say it's a blowout.
Slick.
I do gotta ask though. You said like your goal is to be UFC champion.
Yes.
Your teammate is the champion of your division. Have you had that conversation with him? Like, hey, if I keep winning, we might have to do this.
Dude, things happen. Things are gonna happen. Whatever happens. I got another guy in the back. There's so many at the lab too. We got so many dudes. You got Mario Batista as well. Like, whatever happens, we're fighting. We're training. We're making money. We're representing ourselves. We're representing our team. And it's like, you know what I mean.
So I guess a better question would be: have you had that conversation with coaches? Like, who would coach who in a situation like that?
We'll see. We will see. That's not, yeah.
And just last one for me. Do you feel like the forgotten man in this division, considering like you have the winner?
Hell nah, bro. I look in the mirror every day. I ain't no forgotten man. I wake up, it's me. Ain't nobody else. So that's why there's no forgotten man. Same with you. You guys wake up doing what you do, and you love it. That's the only life, and you're the one in that shoes. So that's what I do. That's it. What about one for you, one for me? All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Not the easy one.
Can you hear it now? No difference or no hum?
Sounds fine now.
Sounds fine now.
What's up, guys?
So, Sean, welcome to Miami. Pretty in pink this week. Talk to us about the custom shorts and how that came to be.
Yeah, I shot over a little favor, and it got granted. You know, I feel like it just makes sense. Pink shorts, Miami, the Sugar Show.
Was this fight with Chito always going to happen as your first title defense, do you think? Just with the backstory, the way the first fight went, and the the dynamics between you two?
I mean, ideally it was going to play out like that, but it was never guaranteed. You know, he had to go out there and do his thing. He beat Pedro. Same night I knocked out Aljo, and the stars aligned.
I think the first fight's an interesting one, right, because of the way it ended. Do you even think that fight should count and can it even offer you anything tactically, or is it just like, hey, that happened, it was a weird one, this is the real fight, this is 5 rounds, this is how it's actually going to be looked at?
Yeah, you know, that fight never necessarily bothered me. You know, look where I'm at now. You know, that fight plays out a different way. I win that fight. Maybe the next fight I fight somebody that I wasn't ready for, and, you know, I lose. My career completely plays out different. So, you know, I go out there and knocked out Thomas Almeida like 7 times, and it was a beautiful performance. So, you know, grateful for, you know, everything that's happened, and that fight's never really bothered me. But I am excited to, you know, go out there and do what I was about to do in that first fight.
You obviously shone out against Aljamain, got the highlight reel KO. They put it online for free for everyone to watch. Do you sort of anticipate you can do something similar here against Chito with his style?
I mean, I think I could do that to anybody. But every time I get in there, that's not necessarily like, all right, I got to find the knockout. I'm just going in there to win. And, you know, that just happens a lot.
Outside of your own sport, there's a guy called Ryan Garcia calling you out. He's also saying a lot of pretty wacky stuff online. I'm not sure what exactly is going on with him. What do you make of his recent Twitter fingers and his attitude towards you?
I mean, cocaine's a hell of a drug. I think he's on drugs and he's acting a fool. I feel bad for him more than anything, you know.
I know you want this superstar route, right? And there's the MMA boxing crossover always comes up when it talks about superstars in MMA, but for a boxer to actually come to MMA, that would be a new look at that. Does that interest you, or do you think he's kind of just talking a little bit out of character and probably won't be meaning what he says?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. That will never happen. And if it does, I'm here for it. You know, I wouldn't be my fault that fight doesn't happen. So, but yeah, realistically, that'll never happen.
Sean, right here. Obviously, a lot of the narrative since your last fight, especially in Chito's fights, is, you know, Chito starts slow. He's, you know, it takes him a while to get going, and then he gets these late stoppages or anything like that. Do you agree with that assessment, or when you're watching Chito fight, is there just something different about him? Like, is he collecting data, as they say?
You know, I think him starting slow is why he's kind of able to finish guys later. You know, he's conserving his energy. So, yeah, I mean, it's just everyone has different styles, and that's kind of his style.
Talk to me about the pink shorts. How did those come about? Because I know you wanted them, and not everyone gets their, you know, custom shorts so close to fight week.
Yeah, I mean, I did a crazy thing going out there knocking out Aljamain Sterling. All I asked for was, you know, can I get some pink shorts, and they made it happen.
And your jiu-jitsu coach Augusto was on a podcast earlier, and he said that he wouldn't mind grappling Merab at some point. So what do you think of those words, and how do you think he'd do?
I think Merab would last a couple minutes, maybe. Tinquinho would sub him fairly quickly.
Here. Speaking of Merab, he's supposed to be the backup for this fight. If Chito doesn't make it, are you willing to fight him?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
And talk to me about what a win over Chito would do for your career, because, you know, that's your only like official loss, right? And we see some of the greats like GSP avenge your losses and stuff like that. What would it do to your legacy to get that one back?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's there in the first place, so just kind of. It's just, this to me is just another fight. It really is.
Yeah, and you've gone back and forth a bit on social media with Ilia Topuria. What'd you make of his knockout win over Volkanovski, and is that a fight that you could see down the line?
Beautiful performance. I was there live. It was a cool moment. It was, you know, Ilia's a scary little dude, so that fight excites me. Would definitely like to get that fight eventually.
Yeah. Obviously, that would involve you moving up to 145?
Yeah, I would move up to 145 for that, but I'm a bantamweight, you know, for the next couple of years. So if I did do that, it would be up there. I'd just go up there, knock him out real quick, then head back down.
Thank you.
Sean over here. Now that you're about to go on to your first title defense, how do you envision your title reign going like in the UFC?
Forever. I don't know. I'm just going with the flow right now. You know, I've learned firsthand when I fought Chito the first time, anything can happen. I always knew that, but nothing ever happened to me to where, you know, it was real. Anything can happen. I'm not looking past him. You know, but for fun, you want to say, you know, what happens in the next 5-10 years? I'd love to never lose. So, but, you know, just going with the flow.
And last time out in Boston, the crowd was strongly in your favor. This time out here in Miami, we know there's a huge Hispanic presence. How do you think the crowd will split on Saturday night?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. I think it'll be fairly even.
And do you see a world where you and Chito become friends after all this is settled?
You know, I'm not really running low on friends. I got a nice tight circle, so probably, you know, if in another world we probably would have been buds. But you know, we're in this world. He stinks. I'm great. We're not buds.
Sean, right here. What did you make of Merab's performance? And I guess, do you feel like he is going to be the guy that's next for you?
Yeah, and again, he had a great performance too. Henry didn't look great by any means, but Merab did what he does, and he, you know, almost gets knocked out and then wins. It was impressive. Very well could be next. I like having my options open, and but yeah, he could be.
I think a lot of people think he might be one of the more difficult stylistic matchups for you in the division. Do you agree with that, or do you think maybe you don't get enough credit in the grappling department?
I thought Aljamain Sterling was the hardest matchup for me in the division, and put his lights out in 2 rounds. I think Merab's definitely up there as you know, everybody in the top 10 is a challenge. No one's an easy fight. Chito's not an easy fight. So yeah, Merab's a tough fight. Chito's a tough fight. Elia's a tough fight. You know, they're all tough fights.
Hi, Sean, over here. Usually when fighters refer to each other during fight week, they leave the trash talk behind. And with that said, will you share with us your honest opinion about Chito?
Yeah, we talked in the DMs a little bit on Instagram. Have you guys had him up here yet? Ask him what we talked about. See what he says.
Do you care to share a prediction for the fight?
Sleep in this man.
Here. Sean, you usually don't recognize Chito's style and level. However, what got your attention in the fighting he had with Rob Font and Dominic Cruz, what do you think you have to take care in your second fight against Chito?
I think I understood that. Yeah, he gets, Rob was kind of piecing him up. Chito was landing the bigger shots and doing way more damage. Dominic Cruz was piecing him up until he got kicked in the lips. So, he's durable. He's very, very tough. He's never been dropped. He's never been subbed. He's never been knocked out. So, I take that away from those fights. He's just very tough.
If Chito wins you this Saturday in the Casella Center, would you recognize the 2-0?
The what? The syrup?
2-0?
Oh, 2-0. No, if he were to beat me, he would have beat me once. And that's simple.
Thank you.
Sean, over here, greetings from Ecuador. A lot of people in my country hate you because you put our flag's color in your hair last time. Would you do it again?
No, that was karma. That's why my fucking nerve got kicked. I was like, God damn it! I knew I shouldn't have done that. So. No,
Okay.
yeah.
So another question. It seems like you are watching just in the future. You are talking about Ryan Garcia. You're talking about Ilia Topuria, but you haven't won this fight yet. What happens if you lose this Saturday?
Then I don't get those fights. I've been saying it all week. I don't care to talk about that stuff right now. I'm focused on Chito. If I don't go beat Chito, none of those fights happen. So I'm focused on Chito.
I understand you don't appreciate Chito very much, but what's the most dangerous thing about him?
His durability. He's hard to put away. If you can't put him away, you better be able to go for 25 minutes. So I'm planning on a 25-minute war.
Thank you so much.
Two more. Sean, will you fight Aljamain Sterling again? Likely or not likely?
Very unlikely.
And what were your thoughts on Henry Cejudo not retiring after all?
I mean, I don't want to kick him when he's down. He's not doing too good. He didn't look good at all. he's been this. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend it, but yeah, it's his life to choose what he does with it.
And last one from me. Do you feel like you getting the pink shorts is going to create like a catalyst for all of the other champions to get shorts that they want?
Possibly. I mean, I don't see why not. I don't think, it's just the color of the short. I don't think so. I think champs should get it whatever the champs want. So I think maybe start a little trend.
Sean, over here. Greetings from Ecuador to Sean. How do you feel having to defend your title against an opponent that previously beat you, knowing that the first time you were injured? You are ready for this rematch?
Yeah, I've been ready for it. Everyone after that fight said, you got to get that rematch, you got to get that rematch. And I said, it'll happen when it's supposed to happen. That fight will come together if it's supposed to. I never lost sleep over that fight. I never thought, I got to get that one back. That just stings me. It happened. My career's played out beautifully. Here we are. Yeah, I'm ready for the rematch.
I don't know if you have talked to Chito before this fight.
Oh, yeah, I did. We talked in the DMs. He's a good family man. Just ask him what we talked about and see if he tells you guys. Yep. See you guys.
Michael, welcome. How's your first fight week as a UFC fighter? How's it been, the experience and everything?
Yeah, there's a, you know, it's been amazing, man. Just getting to know the team. Team over here is just so organized, so on point, so welcoming, so hospitable, so helpful. It's good. It really does feel like I've just been signed to, you know, a new football team and just getting all the facilities. Everything is just done at top tier level, so professional. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm happy to be here.
Has that brought any extra nerves? I mean, you're such a veteran that you've been around for so long and have experienced so much, but it is something new, right?
It's just a case of just being here. You know, when you're visualizing it, when you're visualizing being in the cage, it's more just me, the crowd, what I'm doing, my, you know, finishes and how my entrances and all that kind of stuff. The opponent doesn't mean anything because all I'm trying to do is manifest all the good points of it, and whoever get kicked in the face on the way, it doesn't matter.
And what are your goals joining this promotion? Is it the belt? Is it just having fun super fights? What is your goal now that you're in the UFC?
I don't do things just to make up numbers. So we're here for the belt. I'm here to get the bling. So getting to the top is key, which is why, you know, I start with somebody or the likes of Kevin Holland. It needs to be that type of challenge. There's no point. I don't have time to be trying to build myself up, and I don't need to. And that was a conversation I had, you know, with the UFC. They were, you know, equally in agreement of that, and you know, I think they've shown their intentions by giving me Kevin Holland first.
Lastly, what does the path to the title look like for you?
A big, entertaining knockout, and maybe another spectacular knockout, and then the belt.
Michael, Kevin's known as a bit of a showman, as are you. In a way, is this sort of the perfect starting platform for you, right? If you go in there and he talks a bit of shit to you and you can talk some shit back, get the knockout, that propels you in a way that, like, Michael Chandler got propelled by Dan Hooker. Are you sort of looking at this like that?
Yeah, I keep telling everybody I feel like we're going to have the first live in-cage podcast of me and him talking. But yeah, no, it's such a great fight. I think for so many different reasons. He loves to strike, you know, I love to strike, you know, his entertainment fact, he loves to talk, I love to kick people in the face. It just works.
He does like to strike, and we've seen him make some deals in the past about staying on the feet and cutting out the grappling. Do you kind of feel like he might make that deal with you or no?
He is definitely not going to make that deal. I think he's had a taste of that style already. And yeah, I don't think he's going to want to use as many of his attributes as possible to make sure he wins this fight.
In a way, though, if he does do that to you and you get to stop that and still get the victory, that shows the UFC fans that, hey, like, I'm not just this flashy guy getting strikes. I can do MMA.
No, of course. And but the thing is, for me, I don't, and I've never cared to prove anything to anybody. I know what I do. I have to do it in training every single day. And the fact that people think I go to an MMA gym and only train kickboxing is wild to me, considering I'm doing MMA. So yeah, like, you know, I'm where I'm so superior in my striking. It does feel like, you know, everything else is miles behind, but it's slowly catching up.
Last one from me. For the people who might not know, how big would you versus Leon Edwards, English versus English, be for the world title?
Stadium type big. This is what I mean, and it's just so good for the UK. It's so good for inspiring more talented fighters in future coming from that side of the world. Yeah, I'm just going to keep manifesting. I'm going to keep putting it out there, and we're going to make it happen.
Right here next to you. Kind of going off of that, I know a lot of people want to see you in the UFC before, but given the state of UK MMA now with Tom and Patty and Molly and now you and Leon, is now the perfect time to kind of join the UFC, considering like that part of the world is seemingly never been better?
Yeah, 100%. And this is why I say I think things just happen for a reason. I'm a big believer, and you know, everything happens for a reason. And everyone's like, oh, you know, I felt like you should have been here years before and this and that. No. It happens for a reason. And as you say, look at the state of the UK MMA now. It's just a perfect time to add an explosive, exciting, very good-looking guy.
I know you had a few things to say about the UFC gloves, but have you had a chance to actually get into the octagon? Because in Bellator, there's not a lot of corners. You can't really corner a guy in there in the circle.
Yeah, so I've actually been in the cage. The cage is fine. The canvas is unbelievable. It's amazing. Like, it's perfect for my style. It's got so much grip and traction for me to be able to move. Yeah, it's just going to make me that much more dangerous.
Do you think the Bellator cage limited you in that, in terms of grip and the lack of corners and the circling and everything?
You know what it is? For me, it was slightly inconsistent, because there'll be certain times that they spray it to clean it, and it would leave a slight film on top. And for someone of my style, having any kind of slippery surface is just difficult, you know? But this one, you can tell just the quality and how consistent it's going to be, regardless of they can put whatever on, and it's got grip. So, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to performing in this cage.
Speaking of Kevin, did you know he's, I think, a second-degree black belt in Kung Fu?
Yeah, in Kung Fu.
Yeah. Like, well, when they introduce him, he goes, Bruce Buffer goes, he's a Kung Fu fighter fighting out of so-and-so.
He's a Kung Fu fighter. So here's my understanding, because I started in Lao Gar Kung Fu.
Yeah.
We have sashes, not belts. So.
I don't think it's second degree something. And
Oh, okay. Because if he said that, then he's lying to you.
this is someone else saying.
Okay.
He does have a background in Kung Fu.
Okay, no, that's cool, man. It's good to see two Kung Fu, opponents kind of collide. It reminds me of I don't know if you've seen this film, Twin Warriors, or it's called Tai Chi Masters, depending on what side of the world you get it. One of my favorites, a Jet Li movie, unbelievable. So yeah, we're two Twin Warriors.
And then last one for me, can I get your thoughts on the main event between Sean and Chito?
Ah, man, it's a great fight, great storyline to it as well. Because obviously the first one is a bit controversial in terms of how it ended, but for me, O'Malley's just he's got something special that he just keeps, and he seems to be getting better and better and better. Obviously similar to myself, his timing and stuff, but also seeing his jiu-jitsu ability and stuff as well. Yeah, for me, I'd put my money on Sean O'Malley, but it's definitely a difficult fight.
Michael, right here to your right. When we first learned about this fight, it actually popped up, I think, on the War Room in one of Dana White's videos, and it had a Toronto date in January. Was that ever a date that was offered to you, or was it always March?
Yeah, it was never a thing. It was weird. I'm sure it was the Nelk Boys or something that it was in their route. I don't know, but even when I went back to see that clip, I don't know how somebody even managed to pause it on that. I was trying so hard to see that. That was on there for less than 0.5 of a second. Like, how did people spend time? Yeah, so I don't know how they even found that, but yeah, it was never really a thing. I think they were just kind of putting, super matchups on the board, and somebody happened to see it.
Internet's a wonderful place. Obviously, you've been in some big fights, Grand Prix, fought for a title. We hear about octagon jitters and the nerves. Are there any nerves this fight week so far, or is this just old hat to you at this point?
Yeah, I've done it too many times now. I don't like to call it nerves. There's always that kind of like pre-fight feeling. My pre-fight, and this happens in the gym as well. Like my coach, it happens every single time. My coach is like, "Okay, guys, glove up or pad up." I have to run to the toilet. I don't know what it is, but it's like, it's just my body screaming at me like, "Yeah, we're about to go to war," And again, I don't like to call it nervous. I call it excitement. So yeah, I got some excitement, and that usually helps me.
Last one for me. Obviously coming over from Bellator, what is the main difference you've noticed between the promotions so far?
Organization, structure, people on the floor, just professionalism. It definitely feels like I've stepped up a league, and we're not talking in terms of opponent here or caliber of fighter, because for me, mixed martial arts is a sport, and I've fought so many guys in the UFC and so many guys outside the UFC, and the standard is the same. It depends on the practitioner. It's more about what's happening out there. The guys are so on it, so helpful. Seriously, that's for me is the key thing. Even just having to make weight, and these guys sorting out your foods and your nutrition, and it's just so helpful. And I'm so used to having to organize all that kind of stuff myself. Not having to think about that kind of thing it really does play a massive part in your experience coming into a fight.
And Michael, right here. I think one of the unique things about you, covering you through your Bellator years, was you were always you would always mention how one day you would go to the UFC. Like, you didn't hide that. You didn't give politically correct answers. I guess, why did you manifest that so early on, and I guess why did you see yourself, no matter what happened, ending up here?
It was, I guess, for me, is because it was my intention at the start. So it wasn't something that I've ever lost sight of. I was a typical fan before, so I only knew UFC. You know, I was probably the guy that would probably ask you the question, "Do you do UFC?" You know, at the time. So going into mixed martial arts was me wanting to go to UFC, to the point where I was considering moving to America, because at the time I was like, well, the only way I'd be able to be good or even learn mixed martial arts is that I'd have to move to the States. You know, this is just me being clueless, that not knowing that there's mixed martial arts everywhere. Until I came across my gym, London Shoot Fighters, and then, just fell in love with the team there, the guys, the coaches there, and then kind of started my journey from there. But I think I've just never lost sight of wanting to eventually come here at some point, just because it was my original goal. So I think that's why I just want to manifest what got me started in the first place.
Michael, over here. Obviously, you mentioned that this is a dream come true for you. So how and when did those conversations start with the promotion, and when did you really, have it sink in that, hey, I'm about to go make my UFC debut?
So interestingly enough, actually, I think their first reach out, which was kind of a mistake on their part, because it kind of showed their interest. Basically, when I did my bare knuckle fight, and I announced that I'm doing my bare knuckle fight, people started reaching out like, oh, does that mean he's a free agent? And obviously the UFC reached out like, is he a free agent? And we're like, oh, so somebody's interested, huh? So obviously that was them initially, and it was like, oh, no, still with Bellator, got X amount of fight, but I've got this amount of time left, and then we can speak thereafter. And then the conversation just remained open, if you know what I mean. So, so we kind of started from there. And then it's weird, it was a bit of a longer process in the beginning, and then it just sped up right towards the end, to the point where we even just the announcement of the fight, we hadn't even confirmed everything. I want to say that three days before. So, it's been a crazy ride, a roller coaster ride.
Hi, Michael. Greetings for Ecuador. Do you think winning this fight will put you in the ranking a possible title career?
Sorry, say the last bit again.
Do you think winning this fight will put you in the ranking and a possible title career match?
Okay. Oh, yeah, 100%. I think the reason, like I said, the reason why I've even got a fighter of this standard, at this level, is because of their intentions is aligned with mine of wanting me to be at the top. I think, what I always say, I think the added value that I think I bring is that I'm very capable of marketing myself without anybody. I'm very good at marketing. I'm very aware of how to utilize certain spaces to help market myself. And I think they understand me with a title and my brain and how to market as well. It's great for everybody, all parties involved. So yeah, definitely, this win will put me up there.
How you doing? You all right?
Good.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on Ian Gary, because in the last media day, he gave a prediction to the fight and basically said you got no chance against Kevin Holland. So I just wanted to...
Yeah, I think everyone's entitled to their opinions. I never like to need to crush anybody for their opinion. He's allowed to share his thoughts because he's doing it at the top level now. I also think that's a little bit of worry. I think that's a little bit of, I hope he gets crushed, because it means then I'm not in line for anything, because me winning means I'm potentially in line to have to do it. And now I can't be like, oh no, there's other reasons why I can't fight him. So you're gonna find a lot of people wishing for my downfall that are in the division simply because they don't want to cross me, and they know what that's gonna mean. So yeah, that's how I see it. I don't need to tear him down for anything. You're happy for your opinion. Happy to take it on board and happy to throw it back in your face when I knock him out.